Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And on Skype.
You got Bloodaxe.
All right. Which is going to be Star Wars.
Yeah, this is your subject.
Yay, Star Wars.
So the next Star Wars movie, Rogue Squadron, has been removed from Disney's schedule. Man, what's up with that?
Disappointed in that too. Patty Jenkins was the supposed to be the one directing that film, and she was very passionate about it because her father was a fighter pilot, and she wanted to take some inspiration and do a movie kind of for him to honor some of fighter pilots in general. But we knew this was going to be delayed because there were some rumblings earlier in the year. I don't even know if we covered them, that it got pushed back, and there was all kind of speculation. Well, DC wanted to get the next Wonder Woman out, so they fast tracked it and tried to jump in front of Disney and all that kind of stuff. But the more I looked into, I think there was some creative differences, which is probably more common than not, because if you look at the history of Star Wars under the Disney regime, they never keep the first director. They always fire somebody and they bring somebody else in because of creative differences. But I was really looking forward to this to be kind of in the same vein that we saw Rogue One, which was they wanted a military movie in Star Wars, and that's kind of what we got, was a military movie in Star Wars. And I wanted to have, kind of like a squadron of different pilots, going from mission to mission, or if they're going to go with the original Rogue Squadron ideas, that would have been really cool to see in space. And I was pitching my hat in the ring to be Porkins' son, Dak Porkins, but sadly will not be able to see my face on the big screen, so I'll have to just do it cosplay in the different conventions that we go to now. So anyway,
Right.
That's very unfortunate that because this was one of the few I was excited about, was Rogue Squadron.
The problem for me is that Wonder Woman, I liked Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman 1984 made me lose confidence, especially because Wonder Woman, she didn't do the sole directing for, the one I liked. But when she was the one that did full directorial rights and control over 1984, it was so much worse than the original Wonder Woman movie. So I started to go, she might need to have a co-director. I'm sorry, I'm not saying this, and don't get to attacking and adding me, because this has nothing to do with her being a woman or any of that. It has to do with experience. When put in a seat on her own, she took an action movie and turned it into this kind of weird comedy, nonsensical thing that didn't have the cross-audience appeal that the original movie had. So I was worried that, because Rogue Squadron, come on, dude, I'm expecting a Top Gun out of that. I'm expecting space Top Gun. Her filmography says we weren't going to get space Top Gun. Because, dude, I like fighter flight fights. I love that stuff, especially because I'm not a fan of military movies. I'd prefer it be starfighters. I'd like, dude, come on, get in there. X-Wings?
The last
X-Wings?
Starfighter.
Yeah, man, they don't, these kids don't know what you're talking about.
To expand on your point, the first Wonder Woman she directed but didn't write. And when they gave her free creative control to write and direct and everything, yeah, we kind of saw the result of that. And in business, sometimes, your lane is your lane. And when you veer off, you have a train wreck, which is what 1984 ended up being. And I don't know who was supposed to be writing the script. I'll plead ignorance on that. If she was writing the script, then yeah, I probably wouldn't nearly be as excited. But doing a well-done story as a passion project, I think would have had a higher chance of coming out successful, depending on whose grubby paws were all over the project. But you're right. I mean, 1984 ruined everything. But if she stays in her lane and this is the script, you direct it, you get the actors in character, and your film, your angles and shots. Okay, do your thing. I think we would have had allegedly a good story. But this is something we'll probably never find out.
Well,
Because if they do ever go forward, it'll probably be somebody else.
well, you're also dodging the demonic elephant in the room, though, because yes, if given her ability, she's a good director. She directed the hell out of Wonder Woman. If it's a well-written story and she's a director, that would be good. Except there's someone we know who likes to interfere with the story and the writing.
True. But instead of talking about something that's not going to happen, let's talk about something that is. And
it's also Bloodaxe.
Yeah, and that's going to be. We did get.
I like the trailer.
I think the final trailer for Andor.
I like the trailer.
So let's talk about that for a sec.
So most of the trailers basically stealing little clips from A New Hope and Rogue One. So we didn't get a whole lot of meat, but Andor is going to be kind of about what we expected, or at least what I expected Andor to be. And that's, I'm hoping this going into the spark of the rebellion, which we kind of got a taste of in the Rebels cartoon series, but I think they're going to transition some of the concepts from that over into this series. The thing about Andor is, number one, we know he's going to die in Rogue One, spoiler alert. So there's not going to be a whole lot you can do with it, but there could be some good stories, because he was kind of the one instrumental in getting the Bothan spy plans to Princess Leia at the first of A New Hope. So he's been on the trail of the death machine the Empire's been building, as he's been, going from source to source. Now, the thing about Andor, and the thing that can really make or break it, is if you watch Rogue One, he's dirty, he's gritty, he's dark.
Oh yeah, even in the trailer.
People in cold blood. So if we can get that gritty, dark underverse, take some of the concepts of the old 1313 and incorporate that into like this bounty hunters and smugglers and scoundrels into this show, I will drink that Kool-Aid, even if Grubby Paws is involved with it. But if you go, we're going to just totally rewrite the history of Star Wars and try to get further and further away from what Lucas created, I'm going to check out quick.
The trailer seems to be implying it's going to be what we're hoping.
We've already gotten, stung with Boba Fett, trash fire.
Oh.
Kenobi was just more garbage piled on top of the trash fire. So, again, not super excited yet, because we really didn't see a whole lot. But this is one of the characters created under Kathleen Kennedy's watch. So she may have more delicate touch when it comes to the handling of this character. And she may want to make him the new Han Solo. And that's kind of the thought that I got when I first saw Rogue One was, oh, they're replacing Han Solo with Diego Luna. Okay, so this is kind of the Han Solo character, because he killed first. He didn't wait for anything. So he's the scoundrel that we thought Han Solo was before, he kind of made him the lovable smuggler that he ended up being in the Return of the Jedi. So stay tuned. It's coming out, I think, is it next week? It's coming out soon.
Yeah, it's coming out on the 21st. Yeah.
If the show's
3-episode premiere streaming September 21st.
If the show's actually about Andor, it looks like it could be pretty good. It looks dark. It looks gritty. I'm actually shocked, because like you said, this is a KK project, but it looks like she may have actually been reined in so that it'll actually be good. If it matches the theme of the trailer, even though I saw some things in the trailer that I said, I see some warnings. There are a couple of red flags, but they don't bother me enough to make me think that it's going to be bad. Also, here's the thing. Most of these are original characters, so I don't really care about those, because I'm like, well, they're not screwing up Luke, Leia, and Han. They're doing a new story like we've requested. And honestly, I like the theme. The only thing when I saw this that hurt my heart is I said, man, if only they had did this kind of style and theme with Solo. Like, it would have been great if they had done a Solo series and they showed him before he was a nice guy. Kind of showed the darker Solo smuggler. Because seeing this, I keep thinking, why couldn't that have been Han Solo? Why couldn't that have been what they did with Solo? But you know what? Crying over the things that didn't happen is pointless.
I mean, coming from a non big Star Wars fan, I will say, watching the trailer, it looked actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll definitely check out the first episode or two at least and see how I feel about it.
Yeah, and to continue on Q's point, and also what Jarek's in the chat talking about, Ethan Albrecht has a multiple film contract, and they're clearly not making a solo follow-up film, even though they kind of laid some of the foundation for continuation with a very interesting story. But one of the things that I've heard theorized, and nothing has been pen to paper yet, is bringing that continuation of that story as a Disney Plus show, with Ethan Albrecht replaying Solo again. And if they could get some of the wins from Andor with that type of action and build upon it with Solo, yeah, I could drink that Kool-Aid too. My problem with Solo wasn't the actor, although someone not named Harrison Ford playing Solo I thought was sacrilegious, but I thought he did a good job. But my problem with it was the timing. With you had Deadpool 2 coming out, you had Endgame coming out, so you had all these other things coming out at the same time. When you have a family of 4 kids and me and Mrs. Bloodaxe, 6 people going to a theater, and we're already going to go watch Endgame, and we're going to go watch Deadpool 2, eventually you got to say, which movies am I not going to watch? And Solo ended up being the non-theatrical film that we just didn't go see.
With me with Solo, it was that I started the Solo movie, and I ended the Solo movie feeling I had gained nothing for Solo. I didn't feel like I knew him any better. I don't feel like they added anything of worth to his lore. And then, thus, I've said, you know what? This movie, if you don't watch it, you lose nothing. And that's bad when it's an origin story. When you try to do an origin story and somehow you fail to add anything to the origin of a character. Like already, in dead seriousness, watching this trailer of Andor, seeing his scenes, the face and things he's doing, I feel like I have a better feel for Andor. And now I might go watch Rogue One because I'm curious about this character because he seems like a badass. They managed to do that in a trailer, what they couldn't do for Solo in a whole movie. An entire movie, I felt Solo was kind of a joke at the end of the movie instead of a badass.
You're right, because my idea of the whole Kessel run was much better than what we saw on screen. Mm-hmm. And I didn't need to see him winning the Falcon from Lando Calrissian. None of that was necessary. Mm-hmm. I want to see more about the life debt with Chewbacca, which we got some of that incorporated into it.
They could have did better.
But yeah, they could have been done a lot better. But Rogue One is a good watch. It's a slow burn in the beginning, but it is one of those things that I can't say that anything put me off. Everything from Saw Gerrera, which was a very interesting character, and the way that he treats the Imperials is vicious. I mean, it's a very seedier, darker side of Star Wars, and some of that we've never seen before. So it's definitely worth a watch. I would recommend anyone who hasn't seen Rogue One, give it a shot. It's the best thing Lucasfilm has done outside of The Mandalorian. So it's definitely a good film to watch. But the Vader scene at the end is epic. It's probably one of the most epic things I've seen besides the last episode of Mandalorian Season 2.
Would have been great if that was the Vader we had got in Obi-Wan. But that is not the Vader we got in Obi-Wan. All right, enough of this. I'm getting sad.
All right, well, that's going to wrap us up for this week. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check out Dicejunkies.com where you can find links everywhere we are online. And be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on our YouTube channel. And as every week,
we hope you enjoy.
Just a player, just